Hello crafters, this is Gareth or Gelfie from Elf Creations. A lot of people send me messages regarding wreaths and they ask me how they can get a wreath form. One like this. This is a pre-made wreath form that I actually got on a recent trip to IKEA. It went down to £2 and my IKEA had tons of them, so you still may find them in your local IKEA. And this is just a garland that's wired on to a wreath form. I actually done one similar over on my other YouTube channel. I will link that video at the end. But I'm going to attempt to use all my foliage here, and I'm going to try not to, I don't want to hot glue anything in. So the way that I see these wreaths, if you want to reuse them, then the best thing I would suggest you do is use what you've already got. So you see you've got all this wire work here. I would then use this to put in your picks, and because these greener ones here are wired, you can then mix those in with the ones that come on the wreath form itself. And I would do them on both the inner and the outer ring. So I'm just going to do this one. Where did I put that one? Okay, that one's there, so I need to come to about here. And of course you can use cable ties, zip ties, that type of thing, and I will be using those on this wreath. But I just want to introduce some of this lighter green foliage. And the fact that none of this is going to be hot glued in, and if I do use a few zip ties, they're going to be easy to take out. I'm all for being able to reuse my wreath forms more than once. I did a spring one over on Elf G's Creations recently, and that was none of that was glued in or anything. I will link that so it pops out now. But I just think it's very important to instead of you having to keep buying new wreath forms every year, and this way, if you like me and your colour theme changes, you can change it up and it's not going to cost anything, because all you're doing is reusing another wreath form, a wreath form you've already got. So I've added those in, and then I'm going to do the same thing with this kind of glistening, this kind of snow touch, snow kissed pick. And this one I can bend in and out because the wire is much more pliable on this pick than on the first green ones I used. So I can just bend it around and then hide, and then again mix them in. And even on, you could always add these onto these picks themselves, into these leaves. You can just bend them in. And that also works. So just go in through the back, move the existing leaves out the way, and wrap the wire around, as you can see just there. And do the same with these. Again, lifting it up and then bending the wire around the wreath form. And like I said, just bring the foliage in where you want it. Got a whole heap of foliage here, as you can see. Even pieces like this, I can intermix those, pop it directly in between the wire and the wreath form, and it stays in place. When it comes to your foliage, you could always make up just a small bouquet. Make up a small bouquet, and then you could add those like that, but that doesn't always work for me. So again, I'm going to go in with my flowers, move the leaves of my flowers up to the top, and I'm going to see where I want, in essence, this pick. And I'm going to add 2 pieces of greenery to it, and I'm going to come in, and it's at this stage where I will use some cable ties and zip ties. I'm going to use these small white ones because that's what I've got in my stash, but if you've got green ones or brown ones which will be better in regards to camouflage, then go ahead and use those. And I'm going to zip tie, I'm going to open this as much as I can. I'm going to zip tie this bouquet, if you like, to the inner part of the wreath form. And you can get them on quite tight, and then I'm going to snip off the excess, bring back the foliage. I can then move this foliage and manipulate it as I wish. I'm going to do the same with this glittered. Now these a lot of these picks and things came from my local pound store, and they do have still got quite a lot of the these kind of picks left. They didn't put their Christmas stock away, so my one still has some that are available to purchase. So again, I'm going to do the same thing, come down a bit further, open up my wreath, get one of my cable ties and attach, making sure that your cable tie is the right way around. Pull it tight, get rid of the excess, bring back the foliage, move the mini pick around that you've just created, intermix the foliage that is on the wreath and the foliage that we put in there already. Right, another poinsettia. I'm going to add some of these white picks. Turn this around, open up. In fact, I'm going to shorten this just so there's not so much wires. Open up my wreath form, find a place, get a zip tie and repeat. The actual foliage that we put in earlier, as well as the foliage that came with the wreath form. Okay, back to another what do you call these? Their name eludes me. I'm going to put another one of these in. Got them pretty much equally spaced out. Now I'm just going to go in now and add some. I'm going to go in and add just some filler really. And again, I'm just going to poke this into the wire of the wreath form and use some zip ties if necessary. And then when I change my colour theme, I can just take all this all these items off, and I'll have a completely fresh and new wreath form ready to go for another season. But I can change the colour up because I'm not restricting myself to one wreath for one season or one wreath for 1 year. I can just mix it up as I go along. And in my opinion, that's the beauty of not gluing these things in. Right, I'm going to put these right at the back here, winding the wire around the actual wreath form, and then intermixing them into the foliage. If I wanted to add a few more poinsettias, I could definitely do that. Again, I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to add this poinsettia into the wire, tuck it in and bend it over. Because I've got plenty of length here, I can then turn it around and push it in. I think I'm going to do the same here. So turn it around. One more. Do I want to add this one? Let me just pick it up. Crafters and have a look. And the beauty about the fact that all these things are wired, you can manipulate them, you can change their position. I've got these lovely little snowdrops that are in my stash. Again, I can just slip those in the wire. I actually think this would look beautiful as a table centerpiece with a candle in the middle, but it looks just as beautiful on the wall. I will do a video, mini video of it hanging up, and I will do another video of it as a table centerpiece. But there we go. There's the finished wreath, and all these things I can take off, so I can reuse the wreath form another year or another season. I hope this helps you in some way. I think we all like to save money if we can, instead of buying, you know, new wreath forms every year and decorating them, because I don't know about you, but I don't have the storage space and I'm finding it difficult to store what I've made already and give some away. I sell some, but you know, I like to create, so I like to continually make things. As I say, thank you very much for joining me, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you again very soon with another Christmas craft. Take care now. Bye bye.